Yo, do I look like I overslept? Because I totally overslept. I don't even know how it's possible to oversleep. I have 80 alarms, but apparently I slept through all of them. So give me 1 second here. Let me just make sure everything is good. Okay, that looks good ish. You crazy. You crazy. Let me see. Mute. Okay, yeah, that was muted. It's muted, but it most definitely isn't working. Okay, give me 1 second here. Do. Make sure y'all don't hear anything. Y'all don't hear anything. Okay, that looks okay. But this, like, what's going on here? No. Okay, hold on, give me 1 second here. I don't know what just happened, but apparently. Actually, we'll do this. And this. There we go. And then we'll do, sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm almost there. But everything wants to break on me. The typical morning, get everything in order, and then everything breaks. Okay, to be fair, I only worked on this for like 15 minutes, so it makes sense that everything just decides that it hates me a lot. Okay, refresh. And this should be a refresh. Okay, there we go. And then that looks good. And minimize. And same with you, homie. Okay, refresh. And refresh. Okay, and we are almost done here. Okay, and refresh. There we go. There we go. Okay, now minimize. Okay, there we go. Hi, how you doing? How you be? Top to the AB. I am so sorry. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what was going on. I think everything just hated me today, and I'm just kind of upset that everything hated me today, but it has been quite the ordeal. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a good day at work. My name is Anthony. Everybody calls me the Open Forum or TOF. That is my gamer tag. I make videos about technical issues, computer issues, PC issues, video game issues, just about any technical issue that you can have, and we troubleshoot and help a whole lot of people. That's what we tend to do. And we generally work on a Monday through Friday schedule. I used to do weekends, but it's too much work. But now I'm kind of do like a Monday through Friday kind of thing. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get things rolling here. This is going to be a little bit shorter of a day because well, maybe not. I guess we'll see. We'll find out here. We have quite a few. So let's go ahead and swap off here and let's take a look. So our actual first topic here is actually going to be from Tom's Hardware. PC CPU shipments see steepest decline in 30 years. These may even be the worst declines in x86 CPU history. It's no secret that the PC business and tech industry at large is going through a bit of a rough patch. However, a new report penned by Dean McCarran, blah, 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 probably the biggest bombshell is that figures show the x86 processor market has just endured the largest on-quarter and on-year declines in our 30-year history. Based on previous published third-party data, McCarran is also reasonably sure that the 2022 Q4 and full year numbers represent the worst downturn in PC processor history. The x86 processor downturn observed has been precipitated by the terrible twosome of lower demand and an inventory correction. This menacing pincer movement has resulted in 2022 unit shipments of 374 million processors, excluding ARM, a figure 21% lower than in 2021. Revenues were 65 billion, down 19% year over year. McCarran shines a glimmer of light in the wake of this gloom, reminding us that overall processors revenues was still higher in 2022 than in any year before the 2020s began. So that's kind of an interesting one about the whole processor thing. I think a lot of it probably stems from the fact that, ooh, I think a lot of it maybe stems from the fact that for people, it is usually cheaper to pay your rent than it is to buy a computer these days, especially when it comes to like some of the processors and graphics cards that are out currently. Like for example, the 7900X, 5800X, 5600X, and 3600, they're all extremely cheap. Like for example, you can get a motherboard and a CPU for $100. When has that ever been a thing? Currently, now it is, but that has never really been a thing. But the have the ability to be able to have a computer for only $100 is pretty telling that there is an issue with like CPU or there's an issue with a oversupply of CPUs. And then for the newest gen, you can get a 7600X for $250, like, or $240. I mean, that is a heck of a deal. And you know, when you go back and you look at these kind of things, it makes you wonder just how many CPUs we may have overdone it. Because I wondered, you know, once the crypto market died out and, you know, nobody is mining on Ethereum anymore, they're all mining, you know, different altcoins and things of that nature, that because everybody's returning their graphics cards, you know, people are keeping CPUs, but every single miner that you had also had a CPU. Generally they had weaker CPUs, but those were still there, so they probably still passed those down as well. So now you have people with more up-to-date CPUs, even though they may be lower powered, driving the market, or maybe a giant percentage of the market, which means that most people have computers these days, so you don't necessarily need to buy new ones. So I think that may have had a lot to do with it, but it's just now showing itself in the form of them losing money. So what would be interesting to see, like I don't even know, like the last time I'm gone, I've never actually went looking for processors, but it'll be interesting to see how the 7950X 3D, the 7900X 3D, and the 7800X 3D, it will be interesting to see how those guys perform, seeing the fact that their cousins, the 7900s non 3D, are so cheap. Like, you know, why would you go for 7950X 3D for, you know, $699 when you can pay $100 less and get its brother, which is just as good? You know, it may be a little bit weaker here and there, but you also get, you know, 32 gigs of RAM as well, which saves you darn near $300 and something plus a $100 discount on the processor itself. So why would you go through that, and when you can actually just get it from here for cheaper? So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens with this Ryzen market, or just the processor market in general, because it's almost like they're starting to eat themselves a little bit, kind of like how the iPad does the MacBook Air. But we'll find out what happens here. Hogwarts Legacy, no balance mode help. Yeah, so these are the settings from Hogwarts Legacy on the Xbox Series X. As you can see there, it looks like it has performance and fidelity with ray tracing and performance. And generally you kind of swap between performance and I think balance. And they say, do you mean balance like graphically? Most games only have performance or visual modes from what I've seen. Yeah, I know. I've seen others on YouTube and articles online that get to choose between different performance modes. Oh, well, fair enough. Never mind that. To clarify, was that console and not PC? Console, PS5, and the Xbox Series X. Yeah, so it appears to be some graphical limitations. There's no point in commenting. There's 14 comments already. But it appears to be a bit more limitations when it comes to the Hogwarts Legacy than normal for video games, because most of the time you can kind of choose between like a balance and a performance mode. But here you have performance and you have go home, or fidelity with ray tracing, and slow down your FPS. So it's kind of an interesting thing here, what as far as the actual graphical representation of this game. So just be warned, it appears that there is no balance mode for these games, well, particularly in the console settings. I'm not sure about the PC just yet. I was thinking about buying it, but then I'll probably never play it because I just don't get time. But we'll see what happens. Alrighty, and then this craziness here, okay, while it's playing that commercial, is it muted? Let me mute it. I don't need to hear a commercial. So while it's playing that commercial, let me go ahead and get my headset. But there is a PlayStation VR 2 unboxing, and I definitely wanted to see it, just to see exactly what it came with. Nah, you got to give us all the FPS. Nice tats.
Hey everybody, Max Scoville here for IGN. I have something very exciting for us to unbox today. That's right, it's the PlayStation VR2 Sense charging station. Not a dock, not a cradle, this is a station. It's kind of a big deal. Oh yeah, they also sent us the brand new headset as well, so let's unbox that while we're at it. Okay, so full disclosure, this is just an unboxing. We will have a review going up shortly, sometime in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, we're gonna break down what is inside the box, how many cables are there, and is there anything else inside the box that's a surprise? I don't know. I haven't opened this box. As you can see, it is completely sealed right there. Sometimes we do like a sort of dry run to capture some B-roll when we do these unboxings, but that is not the case here. I've been itching to open this thing up all afternoon, so let's get to it.
Okay, so with the PlayStation VR 2, what's interesting about it is I remember the pre-order sales. We did an actual report on it. The pre-order sales were actually lower on the PlayStation VR 2 than ever before, and it was kind of an interesting situation that the VR 2 found itself in. I guess there wasn't a whole lot of interest except for Resident Evil. Was it Village? Yeah, except for Resident Evil Village and the 3D Booba. But at this, outside of that, though, I think that was pretty much it.
Here it is. Pretty nice box for that. I appreciate lid, I guess.
There we go.
Okay, right on. Okay, so right inside the box
there's a lid. That's cool.
Another even smaller box, and this has some cables. This has the headphones, instruction manual. Here is the one cable to rule them all. Here's the actual headset itself. Now, if you need to store this thing, this is actually a pretty nice box for that. I appreciate that, obviously, compared to
Okay, I'm not talking about boxes. Okay, so it appears that the headset just has that one cable, plus you have a wireless receivers for the grips, the controllers. So the controllers look to be wireless, and you only have one cable going into the USB-C port. So that is quite interesting. That there isn't very many cables here, and then you have a charging cable for the controllers itself. So pretty interesting. I was thinking about picking this up, but then I was like, okay, well, at what point in time would I actually be running this? But in case somebody does have any issues or somebody wants to troubleshoot them, I didn't see anybody who had any questions about the PlayStation VR 2 or ask any questions about the PlayStation VR 2. But we'll see what happens come Monday, because by then people will have a chance to actually get it and unbox it. But let's go ahead and press play one more time and just check one more thing here.
There has been some discussion about how PSVR 1 games aren't backwards compatible, and I think some of that has to do with there being less buttons. Like, this basically just recreates a regular PlayStation controller. You've got L1, R1, L2, R2, and then the face buttons split. I guess the only thing that's missing is a D-pad. Interesting. So you could...
Okay, so essentially the controller, it looks like it's half one and half of the other, minus a D-pad and a left bumper, or maybe there is a left bumper up there and a right bumper. But yeah, so that is the PlayStation VR 2. You only have that one cable, and it appears that it also has a connector for headphones, and they actually just go in your ear. So if you look, they're actually connected to the actual headset itself. So that's actually a pretty good implementation. So you don't have to worry about just having multiple things hooked up to you and 1,000 cables running, but you have that one USB-C cable. And my USB port on my PlayStation, my Xbox is like right here, and I just be so afraid for it to actually fall because I'm moving around and punching things in the air. But that's actually pretty cool. So the PlayStation VR 2 is out now. So if you guys or getting ready to come out, so if you guys are interested, just letting you know. Alrighty, and let's get started with helping people. Let me turn this fan on here and we can get popping. Get it crack-a-lacking. All right, so the very first one is according Mulberry 45, who says mouse turns off when I hold both buttons pressed for 2 to 3 seconds. What can it be? So I Googled it for an hour and haven't found anyone with the same problem. Also, no mentions of it being a special feature to reboot the mouse. So when I hold both buttons pressed for about 2 to 3 seconds, the cursor stops and the mouse turns off. Then it turns back on after I click anything. Mouse is Trust 2322. Please help. With a lovely emoji, a heart emoji. Trust. Oh, I didn't even know that was I didn't even know that was a mouse, bro. Well, Okay, well, that is the smallest mouse known to humankind. And frequently asked questions. Okay. Usage, solving problems. I just bought it and can't find the USB receiver. My mouse is not working. The receiver is connected. The mouse is on, but it's not working. Doesn't need a driver. Now reinstall the mouse by the computer. Okay, that doesn't say anything of help. Okay, I'm not pulling out the manual on this guy, but I mean, we're talking about, just the smallest mouse known to mankind. So it sounds like it's just a feature, So let's go ahead and go back here. So let's see here. Is this also? Okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, so mouse turns off when I hold buttons pressed for 2 to 3 seconds. Well, it's either a feature or a dead battery. I would swap out the batteries of the little guy to see if that makes a difference. If it increases the time at which the mouse turns off, then it was just a dead. Well, okay. See, okay, there's no point in putting this because, I mean, if the changing out the battery fixes the issue, then he's good. Well, it's either a feature or a dead battery. I would swap out the batteries of the little guy to see if it makes a difference, but you are correct. I did not see any mention of this on their page either. I would just return it or swap it out with a new one, provided this does not fix the issue. Well, luckily for you, you just bought it. And luckily for you, we're talking about, a battery and a mouse. So if it doesn't work, just swap out the mouse or swap out the battery and see if that resolves the issue as well. So it's pretty easy to troubleshoot this guy here because, it's just a mouse and you just got it. So that's what I would do for this one here. But you said please help, so we had to help. But yeah, a Trust 2322. I've never heard of that mouse. So, it looks very what do they say? Realtors, when the house is small, they call it quaint or cozy. It is a very cozy mouse. That's exactly what I would say for that. Why don't you just call it small? No. It's cozy. It is a very cozy mouse. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Sorry, I'm also quite sick. Okay, Camwanya. Recent update changed the back button. Okay, this is interesting, and this is a phone issue. So I spent like an hour searching this on Google, but found no results, so I'm coming here. I just downloaded the latest Samsung update, and now my back button doesn't work. Back button? Before, when I pressed and held the back button on a little menu would pop up in Brave, the browser app that I use, it would show me tab-specific browser history, similar to when you right-click the back button on a computer browser. I've never. You know what? I did not know that. I've never done that. I've never right-clicked on the back arrow. So who knows how long this has been like that. I've never actually done that. I never saw a point. I never thought about it. Wow. Okay. What goes to show you how old I am. Because, back in our day, our back button just took you back. I don't know. It was just common sense. So I never really thought about it. But yeah, what happens when you right click on these instead of left click? There you go. That's the answer. Learn something new every day. So I downloaded the recent update. And when I use Brave and go back to a previous site I visited, it didn't work. or would just use the back button as if I tapped it normally. This is annoying because I have like 50 tabs open and mainly navigate through them using this feature. Now that it's gone, it made all my tabs unusable. I'd have to press the back button around 20 times to get back to where I want to be on most of my tabs. I mainly use the AO3 Royal Road and Liberty websites on my phone to read for leisure, then press and hold the back button to get back to the home page or website search browser. Can someone help me with this, please? With this back on, please, or recommend an app that mimics this feature? TLDR, excuse me. Android update change press and hold back feature, and I like to change it back. Okay, so it's an Android. So let me. Oh my goodness, I got way too much stuff going on here. Move the headset, move the PS5 controller, and oh, it's already on. Thank goodness. Okay, so let's try Chrome. Can Chrome do that? Chrome. Sure, you can be the default, bro. I don't care. All right, so we're gonna go to Hulu or something. I don't even see a back button on. Okay, well that's not gonna work. This guy doesn't even have a back button. Oh, what just happened? Okay, there we go. Oh, would you look at that? Is there anything bad on here? No. Would you look at that? So when you press, sorry. Okay, that's just too much glare. There we go. So when you press the back arrow, it actually tells you what you had previously, or your previous history. So Chrome does it on the Android. And this is the most up-to-date version of Android, I believe. Okay, so I just tested this on my Android, and it appears Google Chrome works just fine. Go ahead and download that guy instead to see if you get your feature back. It should be noted though, whenever we were in Google Chrome, the back arrow is at the bottom of this, is at the bottom and not at the top. So make sure there's nothing bad here. Okay, cool. So there we go. You see how the there we go. Come on now, focus. Come on. There we go. You see how it's at the bottom? That's the back arrow, but it's at the bottom and not at the top. That's what threw me off. All right, so it's at the bottom. Go ahead and download that guide instead to see if you get the feature back. Be aware the back button is actually at the bottom, not the top. Okay. So Chrome. Well, that was pretty easy. So yeah, on Google Chrome, that actually does that. So that's what I would do for this one here. Just download Chrome instead. I didn't even know what these browsers were that you were referring to. Brave browser. I do know it. As soon as I actually said the name, I immediately knew what it was. But if you just say Brave by itself, nobody knows what you're talking about. But as soon as you say Brave browser, it'd be like, oh yeah, I heard a commercial about that once or twice. So there you go. That's what you would do for that. You would just download Chrome instead if the browser is starting to give you some trouble. So Cam Wanya, I hope that helps. Okay, we paid someone for this. Yeah, I want my money back. I'm sorry. That's just the level of stupidity. Oh, come on now. How you gonna block the HDMI port? Like, okay, one, I do want this. I've always wanted to have a jack for my Ethernet and HDMI port going into my television so I don't have to route cables. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. Like when I buy a house, this year sometime, whenever I do that, I'm going to make sure that I have the cables so I don't have to like have them hanging from a television. Like I'm so past the days of where I had to have my cables hanging from a television. It's so tacky. When you have people come over your house and they see cables hanging, it is the tackiest thing ever. Now, hanging off the back of your desktop is a totally different thing. We're just talking about on living rooms and places where people like to look. You typically don't want to have cables hanging, and this right here is just the tackiest thing ever. Like, okay, whenever I do this, now there have been situations where it may not be level, but it will never look like this. This is a disgrace to mankind unless you wanted it to go through that little slit right there. But at the same time, I mean, you just blocked the whole power outlet. Like I want all of my power outlets. I don't know why you would do that. Why? Just why? Just why I would rather it be uneven than block the ports needed to set it up. LOL. I can tilt my head. I can't tilt the I can tilt my head. Oh no, that's not even funny. I'll leave it alone. I'll just go with this. Just why I would rather it be uneven than block the ports needed to set it up. LOL. Now you'll pay double to fix, stonks. This almost smells like a malicious compliance. This smells like not my problem. Yeah, that's awful, man. I'd be so hot. Yeah, that's just where did he he screwed it right there. Yeah, no, sir. No, sir. I don't even know. This man has something to do. He's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go, sir. You can figure this out, you'll be fine. But that is that's awful. That is 100% awful. Okay, so this is from Fair. Okay, let me get ready here. There we go. Fair writes, PC crashes while gaming. Okay, I've been having this issue for a number of years. My PC will sometimes just crash. Whenever I'm gaming, the crash is just a complete freeze where I cannot interact with anything and have to do a hard reset to get it going again. It didn't crash in any other scenario. I've done RAM tests and they've all come back fine. The one thing I've noticed that happens every time it crashes is that I get the same couple of errors in Event Viewer. SWV. Yo, that was a good band or a good group of singers back in the day. SWV or SW Visualize, Software Visualize, Q Server. Service failed to start doing the following error. System cannot find the specified file and SolidWorks. Okay. I uninstalled SolidWorks because I thought that its server thingy was the root of the problem, but the errors have continued. I did install different versions of SolidWorks simultaneously, so perhaps some remnant of an install has remained somewhere causing this. Either way, I cannot find where these files are located. Okay. Google. Remove SolidWorks registry entries. Okay, so we'll just go here. Let's take a look at it here to make sure we're not getting him none crazy. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's everything. Okay, so we just give this to him. That was pretty straightforward. Here we go. Alrighty. So I found this information on how to do a clean uninstall of SolidWorks. I would say try this to see if it resolves your issue. But it sounds as if the registry or a hanging application is still running, but its dependencies have been removed. Okay. I know it's Friday. I know, computer. It's okay. How is ruining the first word you think of whenever I'm trying to type running with 3 N's? I just, it's not your day. It's not my day. I get it. But we have to continue on. We have to press on. We have to help these people. But it sounds as if the registry or a hanging application is still running, but its dependencies have been removed. That's what it sounds like. So when he's talking about here, this Q server, SolidWorks, it typically means that there's a pretty good shot that he has an application that's in the background that's trying to run, but its dependencies are gone. That would trigger these kind of errors here. So basically just to perform a clean uninstall and make sure you remove it from the registry just to make sure everything is good to go. Alrighty, well, fair. I hope that helps. Keep us posted. We will see you on Monday, good sir. Velka 3. So 3 point. it's a stuffed banana. I was like, ugh, why that banana look like that? And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's a stuffed banana. 3.9 liter Velka 3 PC with an RTX 3060 and a 5600G. That is a very tiny, good sir. With a 3060, that's actually pretty sweet. I've always like, okay, so I bought a 3060, like the mini version, the one fan slot version, but at the same time I was like, if I was to travel, I would want something a little bit stronger so that I can run, games at like the highest settings or something like that when I travel. But the Velka 3 is so freaking small, it makes you kind of want to go for that kind of a build. So I don't know, I'm still up in air about it, but I wouldn't mind having the Velka 3 because this guy here is super portable. This thing can go right in your backpack like it's nothing. So banana for scale. So yeah, it's super small. Nice build, bro. It's ready for travel. Take that bad boy overseas. Nice build, bro. Where's the banana from? That is a very interesting banana. I have a similar build in the Densium 4. Fun fact, the XLR8 branding on the GPU fan is just a thick metal sticker. Can be peeled off with a hobby knife if you want a cleaner all black GPU. Densium 4. Is it also 3.9 liter? Densium 4 V2? Oh. With impressive improvements, the D4 V2 offers the same praised look, but with much more options for customizing your build. The case can be used for a variety of applications, but will look amazing anywhere you decide to have it. That is interesting. How do I... Okay, there we go. Oh, no, that's not... Oh, yeah, it is. We did it right. Okay. Oh, that's nice. I like how the USB-C goes through the piece of wood. Oh, ooh. Oh, is that mahogany? Oh, snap. No, is that cherry? Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. That's interesting. It almost looks like a dresser drawer or something. Ah, yeah, that's my kind of stuff right here. That's nice. I like that. Oh, and okay, this is wood, but it's the black wood. But every time I've always had this, it's always been cheap because this is the kind of wood that they would use for like Walmart desk and computer desk and stuff. And every time I see that, I automatically think it's cheap. So I probably wouldn't run that, but I get it. And it doesn't have a whole lot of cables or anything. It just has place for the motherboard and a flex CPU and then a spot for the graphics card. That's pretty much how it's rolling. Yo, but that is really small and tiny and portable. That's actually pretty good because remember, like this guy here, remember it could actually run like a 7850X, like no problem. Just put it in eco mode and this guy would be just fine chilling. Well, okay, maybe not because of the flex power supply. Well, no, it'll be fine with the flex power supply too because it'll be in eco mode. So it'll be sitting at 65 watt TDP or maybe even 105 watt TDP, and you get a 400 watt flex power supply, and then swap out the flex power supply's fan with a Noctua fan to make it quieter, and you're good to go. And just get a Noctua L9A or a CryoRig C7. And I just told you an entire build. So let me actually explain. CryoRig C7. Right, so you get this guy here, which is a nice low form factor computer or CPU fan. It's very akin to the Noctua L9A or either one of those works as well. And then I had also said the flex, the 400 watt flex, 400 watt flex PSU. So this guy here, so there's a 400 watt available, this one here, and if you look, you see that fan right there? Well, that fan is super loud, and you can replace that fan with a Noctua fan is what I'm actually referring to. Plus, it has the cables for everything here. And yeah, and you just plug in your motherboard and all that kind of stuff into this guy, and you should be good to go. So yeah, it has modular cables, flex PSU. It is usually a 400 watt gold. I'm not sure if this one here is a gold, but the one that I'm referring to is going to be a gold. So yeah, these guys here can actually handle quite a bit of power. They can get up to like 600 watt, I believe. And so only thing though is that you have to make sure you swap out that fan because that fan is super loud. So just be aware of that if you want to go with something like that. But that Densium 4 is nice. Let me save that. I'm gonna need that for my notes because that is a nice looking chassis, sir. And I'm always in the realm of looking for newer, smaller cases. All right, so we just move this away here. and we just go ahead and close that up. But cool, Densium V4 V2. I never even knew that existed. Now I do. Alrighty, that group is done. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Alrighty. Okay, so how do I fix this? So this is from the Xbox group, and I remember this. Somebody in the chat translated this for us. I can't remember what it said, but yeah, somebody translated it for us. And I said, so with this one, more than likely you do not have enough drive space to install Call of Duty. I would suggest going to your settings and checking the disk space. Let us know if that doesn't work. We can help you out. We had someone translate this for us. You may also have issues with network connectivity. We would suggest a reboot to see if that resolves the issue. Keep us posted. We will be monitoring Xbox issues now that we have one. LOL. Hi, I have plenty of spare space. I added an external 1 terabyte of SSD. Thanks for the help. Okay. So are you still having the issue? Are you still having the issue? If so, connect, this is the Xbox, right? Connect the Xbox wired to your router to see if it lets you download Call of Duty. So yeah, if what that says is network connectivity, then go ahead and hook up directly to see if that makes a difference here. If we look, we can tell that this is in a room that does not have the router next to it. So let's go ahead and plug it into an area that has the router and see if that makes a difference here, and then go from there. And if it doesn't, or if it, well, depending on what he says, it changes the scope. If it works whenever you hook it up directly, just go ahead and download the game and then go back to Wi-Fi. If it doesn't work whenever you have it hooked up directly, then and you can't download it, then go ahead and try to download another game that is free and see if that allows you to download, and then kind of go from there. So depending on the situation, it changes what we're going to do for our next step. So just let us know. No hate, please. Thank you. Keep us posted. Oh, RGB, my homie. Why do I have this? This is from One Shot. We were talking about, oh, okay. So we were talking about RGBs, and this is the guy who had the whole RAM issue with the color on his PC and his motherboard, and his RAM was a different color. So whenever it rebooted, it didn't actually show the color of the RAM, and that was irking him. And so we went way back and forth about this guy, and so he said, Yeah, no. Okay, this is the same problem. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because when I started reading this, I was like, what am I talking about? Yeah, it's a pretty rare case. You could try to go online website and download the drivers from the manufacturer to see if it helps, but he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm in directly to the wall. I was thinking maybe you had a power fluctuation, but this is highly unlikely. Also, why on earth do you cut the power that way? Do you have the same issue if you shut down from the software in Windows by going to the Windows logo, then the power icon, then shut down? The reason why it is important is that this is the difference between a warm and cold boot. So it's possible that may have been the cause of the problem. I thank you, misunderstood. I always shut down Windows via the software. Windows shut down PC, and when it's powered off, I then cut the power completely over the PSU. Wow, that was a week ago. He just replied. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So what's the update on your color issue, bro? Is this issue resolved? So yeah, I don't even know where to go for this. He hasn't actually said anything. So yeah, just keep us posted. Let us know if you still have a problem. If you do, we can still troubleshoot it. But yeah, I think our RGB friend here is good to go, or at least he has been good to go. I'm not exactly sure where he's at right now, because it's been a week since he replied. But I do appreciate him for replying. So good looking out, yo. Blozer. Game crashing for no discernible reason. For quite a while now, I've come across several games that just close to desktop after a few minutes. I can launch them and interact with the menus for a few minutes, maybe even get a little gameplay. But after a few minutes, the game just closes. The only place I've been able to see any sort of error messages is in the event viewer. It lists an error and information. I'd have to attach screenshots of these reports, but that's obviously not an option here. And he was actually talking about it being in Dark and Darker in Hogwarts Legacy. And so we started talking about, okay, sounds like we are dealing with RAM, motherboard, or CPU. That's because he's tried a few things. but he hasn't actually got to the disk partitions yet. The reason I haven't done a clean boot, so he hasn't done a clean boot, but he's done a lot of other stuff. He's tried to verify file integrity, uninstall, reinstall the programs, updating all the drivers, scanning for faulty RAM, checking RAM speeds, ensure BIOS settings are correct, updating BIOS, excluding programs for antivirus, factory resetting the computer, and a clean install of Windows, as well as a clean install of the graphics driver when you clean install Windows. So that's why we had said that you're looking at a RAM, motherboard, or CPU issue. If that does not work, then update the BIOS of the motherboard to see if it resolves the issue. RAM is set to 3600, which is recommended speed. I've made sure nothing is being overclocked. Okay, were you able to update the BIOS on this? Also, could you try to reseat the GPU and the cable to see if that works, or move it into a different slot on the motherboard? No luck. Updated the BIOS and seated the GPU and other slots on my motherboard. So you still have the issue. And let me see what the issue was again. That just closed the desktop after a few minutes. I can launch them and interact with the menus for a few minutes, maybe even get a little gameplay. But after a few minutes, the game just closes. The only place I've been able to see any sort of error message in the event viewer is error in information. So basically, it had a problem it just faulted whenever it tried to run the program. So you said he's checked RAM and a whole lot of other different things. Having not done a clean boot will make sense in a moment. Okay. So the reason I haven't done a clean boot is because from what I've gathered, it's telling me that the error resides in the application itself. So I'm performing a clean boot, excluding the problematic program from the files during startup. I'd be restricting my ability to even open the game. All the other games I've had crashed provide the same error, but obviously with their own respective file paths, blah, blah, blah. Before checking the disk partition, I'll wait to see if anyone had any recommendations. Okay, no luck. Updated BIOS and reseated the GPU in the other slot on my motherboard. So he's updated his BIOS and he's reseated his GPU, and he still has problems with games crashing whenever they try to run. Okay, he said he excluded programs from the antivirus. How about this? I see you mentioned you disable, or you excluded programs from the antivirus, but it's a possibility it may be blocking some of the dependencies. What happens if you disable the default antivirus software and antivirus software / Windows Defender? This is in control panel, system and security, Windows firewall, Windows Defender firewall, control panel, system and security, Windows Defender firewall. I believe that's right. We can check though. We can check. I'm down. Windows 11. All right. So control panel. Oh, it's already here. System and security, Windows Defender firewall. Look at you, Anthony. All right. So yeah, just turn off everything. Okay. So that is absolutely correct. Cool. Gave him the right information right off the top of my head. System and security, Windows Defender firewall. So yeah, let's go with the antivirus and let's see if we can turn that off to see if it makes any difference here. But because the fact that the game is just shutting down immediately still makes me think that it's going to be something software related. Plus the errors that it gives you tells you that it's software related. But if you were to wipe it and it still has the issue, then it makes me think that Windows Defender and Windows Firewall are having a problem. Do any games work? Also, do any games work? Save edits. Is it just us talking? No, it's 10 posts. There's other people talking on this, I think. No luck. Or is just us? It's just us. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, that's what I would say for that. I would say go for the antivirus here because that's the only thing that can really interfere with you, seeing the fact you wiped everything already. But yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see exactly what this guy turns out to be. But keep us posted. Blauser seems to be pretty quick on the trigger, so he'll probably let us know come Monday. Alrighty, so this was the Ansel camera one. This is the one where we had to look up what the heck Ansel was, but Ansel is the NVIDIA option to actually take pictures and do camera screenshots of your in-game performance. So you can take a picture of wherever you are in game, kind of like the camera feature in Genshin Impact. And I said, I apologize for I'm not sure what you were referring to. And he did say it was NVIDIA Ansel. And I said, I got you. So with Ansel, you gain the 360 movement in game when the game is supported by NVIDIA Ansel. So more than likely what is happening here is the game you are trying is not supported. Here's the link for the supported games with NVIDIA Ansel. Unfortunately, I've been having this problem in every game I use it in, including War Thunder, which is definitely supported. Well, that's an interesting one. NVIDIA Ansel not working in, you say Warhammer, right? He said Warhammer, right? War Thunder. And War Thunder. War Thunder. Translate. Well, I have a problem with NVIDIA Ansel. It doesn't work when I press Alt F2, and I have already tried to check if it is enabled under Program Files, try to disable the Steam overlay, try to disable preload launcher, driver uninstall with DDU. I guess it's disabled in the game client. At least looking into the game configuration files, it says disable Ansible equals yes. While there may or may not be a way to enable it, I guess the results will be unpredictable. In the worst case, the client will crash, I guess. Okay, let me try it. I will post the results. In which file you found this string? In the blah 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 War Thunder saves production, pretty much at the bottom. However, editing the file may not work. It's getting synchronized with the online profile. You may have better chances adding the line in the debug section of the config.block. Just add the disable blah 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 blah. Okay, found the disable Ansel, yes, in line 6665. I'll try. Place it in only reading to avoid random modify. Okay, nothing. Try to place the files in only reading mode and write or modify disable Ansible B, but still nothing appended. When I press Alt F2, we have to wait. So that isn't a good idea. You will get an according to error message in game because there are quite a few settings in the file that will be changed pretty much on every start. Well, NVIDIA says that it's already in the game, but probably it is not, waiting for 1 updates or so. Well, thanks anyway, mate. The Ansel is Ansel the new name for SLI. Well, free camera, that's why. I don't think it supports SLI up to now. Okay, well, it's only available as of NVIDIA wrote in replays and in the menu, so it's not actually a cheat or something like that. So I don't really know why they didn't implement it when the driver comes out. Well, so we'll let them know about this. Sorry. Well, there are some posts that mention having difficulty with Ansel in Warhammer or War Thunder. Is this free? Steam? Anybody got a Steam? Anyone? Steam. Store. Make sure there's nothing crazy on here before I switch everybody. Okay, cool. It looks okay. Okay, yeah. So, store. You said War Thunder? War Thunder. Oh, it's free. Bet. Add to library. Okay. Cool. So I'll let that download and we could try it tomorrow when we pick back up with, or I'm sorry, not tomorrow, but on Monday when we pick back up with him and see if that will actually do anything, if that will actually make this work. So if we test it and we also get the same issue trying the Alt F2 option, then that means that it's just having some issues showing the NVIDIA Ansel. And we'll test it on the, I don't even think this, oh no, we can't test. Well, we'll test it on the NVIDIA. This is actually the AMD PC, so we'll have to download it on the NVIDIA one, but the NVIDIA one doesn't have Steam logged in, so I'll just move it over and make sure that it's on that game instead. So yeah, there we go for that. So we'll test this out and be ready on Monday. Well, there are some posts that mention having difficulty with Ansel and War Thunder, but I can download it as well since it's free and test on my 3090 Ti. I will let you know my findings on Monday. Yeah, so in War Thunder. I don't need that many spaces. I just needed to Control V. Save. All right, so just let them know that there was a Steam community post because they gave some pretty good options there, but it didn't fix it in 2016, so it's probably not going to fix it in 2023. But it's worth a shot to even try it and go and make those changes, but he may have to make those changes again. But I'll just leave it there. That way you can at least read up to see if that's what he's showing as well. But this will probably be the way to go about it. Just recreate the issue, seeing the fact that the game that he's testing with is free, and then just go from there. Alrighty. Google Chrome, really slow. All right, I'm ready. Google Chrome really slow or refuses to load certain websites. Ever since I downloaded and used NordVPN, my Google Chrome is extremely slow with and without VPN connection. Additionally, when I turn my VPN off, half of the websites refuse to load. So evidently this sounds like a VPN issue. However, when I remove NordVPN, reset all network drivers and etc., the issue still persists. So any thoughts? Yes, DNS. Yes, this sounds like a DNS issue. Sounds like a DNS issue. What happens when you reboot your router? What happens when you reboot your router? Does the issue persist? Are you So when you lose connectivity and the VPN tunnel closes, it just takes you back to the IP address that it used in order to create the tunnel in the first place. So it really shouldn't affect anything. And the fact that even when you have the NordVPN uninstalled, you still have the problem makes me think that you have some type of issue with network connectivity. So the best way to troubleshoot that is to go ahead and reboot your router and then kind of just go from there. Does this issue persist? Are you wireless or connected directly into the router? So yeah, I would go with that and just, give him some probing questions. Sure, the best way to probably handle this is going to be ipconfig /all and see if he sees his DNS as of right now, and then kind of troubleshoot from there. But we'll just go ahead and do it this way here and just ask him some nice small questions and then just go from there. Now, of course, it'll probably end up with the ipconfig /all, but I don't want to have like 40 questions on here for him. So we'll just go with that and just see what he says. Alrighty, Thomas, keep us posted. We'll check back up with you on Monday. Alrighty, this is from Tech Surgeon. Tech Surgeon, I remember him. This is the guy that went Super Saiyan when he was trying to troubleshoot this issue because he just basically had the Intel Net 2140 2.2. We ended up having this this driver update as well, except that ours was more up to date. Ours was like 22.60. I already installed the driver update, which is why I'm not switching screens, and because it didn't look like he needed it. And plus, there was another one in the downloads, like additional downloads for updates. There was another one, so we could just download that one if there was a problem. And well, good sir, it appears you have gone Super Saiyan. I'm just going to play the role of Piccolo and chill in the cut. My personal opinion is this, though. If we are talking about a desktop Wi-Fi card, I believe the only way to stop a download that has already started for a driver would be to remove said product from the system, and if it still shows, refresh Windows while keeping the application. You're getting the wrong impression here. It's not just the Wi-Fi in my case. It's also my motherboard itself has a firmware that keeps downloading from Windows Update as well. This gets worse though. The firmware it's downloading from Windows Update is a buggy prototype. The firmware that the system started with was R0_C0, Microsoft installs, blah, 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 blah. ignores the fact it's a buggy older firmware, and installs anyway and corrupts memory and CPU settings, thus I block it. I even looked at the firmware content. C1 only had a small change in 2 sections from C0. However, B1 had much bigger change, with one of these sections changed in C1 further modified. It was just a file compare I ran to get a percentage difference. Is it just us talking? Has he gone Super Saiyan on anyone else, or is it just us? Okay, it's just us. I feel like Cell when he sees a Kamehameha coming, it's like, oh my god, bro. I see. Is there a way to remove the update? It keeps trying to install and silently failing. Why don't I see? Quick question on a workaround. What happens if you just disable Windows Update? Does this solve the issue as the program is not running? And it'll be what's the name of that program? It's gonna be let's go to Windows real quick here. It literally is a program that you can actually just straight up disable. So if we go to Task Manager, and we go to more details, and we go to performance, that is not a 5950X. Do not be intimidated. It was what I was looking for. Oh, I was looking for processes. I think it's called Windows Update. Oh no, I know what I'm looking for. Services.msc. And it's down here at the bottom, and it is Windows Update. So the service itself. So under services.msc, seeing if what happens if you actually disable the software itself, will it actually make the errors go away? So we just want to check. I see. Quick question on workaround. What happens if you just disable Windows Update? Does this solve the issue as the program is not running? This is by disabling it from services.msc, Windows Update. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if it will actually disable and stop those alerts from coming, because if we can get to a point where we can at least get it in a fairly working condition where it's working, however, he just can't run Windows Update, that's actually okay. Most people don't really want to run Windows Update anyway because it usually breaks things. So in his case here, he really doesn't want to run Windows Update. So we might as well just disable it to see if it fixes the issue. Kind of like trying to work around or trying to band-aid the situation instead of trying to fix the actual root of the cause. But it's probably easier to go around this way because this man has gone Super Saiyan and still hasn't figured this out. And so we're just gonna, keep playing our role of Piccolo and just try to think of different possibilities to resolve this problem without having to go into the actual file itself. So we'll go that route with it. And Tech Surgeon, keep us posted, bro. This is kind of an interesting issue. Alrighty, Exit Moscow. Exit Moscow writes, I need water. There we go. Random black screen while gaming. About to throw PC out the window. Hi everyone. Since I built my PC about a year ago, I've been experiencing this issue. It happens only when gaming, not when alt-tabbing or browsing the internet. My screen goes black and it wouldn't come back. A scratching noise comes from the speakers, which we did not troubleshoot because that has nothing to do with anything. Every LED vent stays on. Numlock is responsive. I am then forced to shut it down manually, thus triggering an error code 41, which means your power supply has been unexpected power shutdown. And so we had a few things that we want to talk about. Yeah, all that left is the PSU. He's replaced every single component. That's what happened with this guy. And we were telling him all that's left is the PSU. I would say 850 watt to gold or platinum would be ideal for your next build. And be sure it has a 12 VPHR cable. And then he said, yeah, well, it's about to process an MSI 1000 watt 3.0 that is PCIe 5 ready, but I saw that some of them have burnt cables. So the reason I suggested the PSU with the PCIe 5 ready was just to prepare you ahead of time, since your previous GPU was a 6800 XT, which means you have a higher probability of buying a higher end GPU in the future. And the cable for that can be swapped out in the event there is a problem, but it's better to have it than not, since I am still regretting my 850 watt PSU purchase in my ITX build. I bought the HX 1200. Jesus Christ. It will probably fit real tight in the Meshify Compact 2, but at least it's future proof. Also, Corsair has a good custom cable for the 12 volt VHPR, whatever. I'm not about to say and pronounce that, in case I'll need it. We'll also see if this fixes my crashing. LOL. I'll post here as soon as I have time. Sweet, bro. I love the HX 1200. I got the white cables for it and everything. I got the white cables for it and everything. Keep us posted, bro. Yeah, so I have the white cables. It's in my my mining rig that I'm gonna take apart eventually. I was using it as kind of like a decorative piece, but it's too heavy to be a decorative piece. That power supply is too good to just be sitting there not doing anything. And so are those cables. But oh my god. Guys, I think I overclocked too high, and that's the image. Let's see. Just a little bit, bro. I think it's fine. You know, just blow it off, just dust it off. It'll be okay. This is like it was caught in a fire. Okay. See, your problem is not enough thermal paste. See, your problem is you pizzaed when you should have hot dogged. If you pizza when you should hot dog, you're gonna have a bad time. You underestimate his power. Just underclock it and let it heal. See, your problem is not enough thermal paste. These are all really funny. The voltage level is over 9,000. Okay, well, so everybody brought their A game. So did we. So yeah, we're getting into this. Yeah, I mean, obviously, thermal paste is the problem here. Just put a little bit on there. It should be fine. Alrighty, cool story, bro. User was wondering if they should be concerned. Well, yes. I would be incredibly concerned. Nah. Nah, just put a band-aid on it, and some Neosporin. Is that how you spell Neosporin? Pretty sure it is. No, okay, capital X. Okay, sure. Nah, just put a band-aid. Just put a band-aid on it and some Neosporin, and it will be fine in the morning. Yeah, it looks like his laptop scraped his knee. No, that's just hand warmer expanding. Those 5570s are ancient anyway. You are probably ready to be sent to pasture. Oh yeah, the Latitude E5570. Yeah, that is a pretty old laptop. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, this thing is on its way out, but it appears that somebody got very, very mad on its way out and kicked it out the house. This is essentially what happened with this guy. But the Dawn of Dawns, yeah, it's broke for sure. Does anyone know what the deal is with these green pixels? Oh yeah, this was the guy with the starry background. So we didn't know what the heck he was talking about. We see all these green pixels, but to us it just looks like stars. And we were like, hey bro, this looks like stars. Can you actually show us the actual issue? And then we kind of been going back and forth. Could you change your background to something other than a moon, as everything just looks like stars? Stars. Oh my god. He probably didn't even know what we were talking about. So with this one, green pixels on the screen is usually an indication of a faulty cable or port between the Xbox and monitor. So let's try this. It's not a cable issue because it happens even with other cables. Might be a port damage, but I don't see any indication of damage. Okay, that's what we needed to know, but we have to take that route because all other options are going to be bad, but let's do it. So do you have this issue when trying a different monitor? So if so, you either have a faulty HDMI port on the Xbox or an issue with the CPU/GPU of the console. If not, then you have a faulty monitor. IG uses it's the Xbox then, because I usually say monitor and cable when they're plugged into the PS4 and it doesn't do the green pixel bull. Gotcha. Well, it's either stars or it's either green stars, green stars, or your Xbox is having a really bad time. Sorry, bro. This is usually an indication that the device may be overheating or is on its way out. All right, rip off the Band-Aid then. I mean, you only had a couple of options to choose from between cable and monitor, you know, and if it's not cable or monitor, then it has to be the actual Xbox itself. So, you know, it's going to be, it is what it is, you know. You're going to have to rip a Band-Aid off and tell them the truth at some point. So, Ducky, hope that helps, bro. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's just us talking. So, yeah, let him know. I'm guessing he's talking about all these little stars and everything that we see. Alrighty, Basherba writes, Wi-Fi is terrible on laptop, but fine on other devices. I live in a house with usually 2 to 4 devices running at most hours. The issue has never been prevalent, but recently on the main laptop I use, my Wi-Fi has been absolutely terrible. I have run numerous checks for malware, spyware, etc., and it appears my computer is clean and I have restarted it many times. I seem to only get bad when I have multiple applications open. Any help is much appreciated. Sure. Help is kind of what we do. Ready? We do. So with this one here, could you go to speedtest.net and run a speed test and give us the results? Then plug your laptop directly into the router and then do that same speed test again to see if it makes a difference. Okay. What I'm thinking is that he may have a loss of connectivity on his laptop, but the easiest way to test that is to have him just go ahead and do a speed test and then switch it up to wire and then run a speed test to see if there's a difference and then just kind of go from there. So it's a different way of troubleshooting. We usually don't recommend this, but this is always fun. The only reason why I don't recommend it is because I just try other options, but it's not that this option is bad. It's just that, you know, I was just trying to be different than I normally do with these kind of issues, because usually I'd be like, okay, well, reboot the router. Does anybody else in the home have this problem? But this is another way of going about that. So I just wanted to let that be known. Okay, my fan just died and we have 2 more groups left. This isn't gonna work. So let me go ahead and charge this bad boy back up. Okay, come on, fan. I'm sorry. Come on, we need you. We need you, buddy. We got 2 more groups left. That's gonna be like at least 45 minutes. Okay, we'll just do it this way. Okay, sorry, my fan is just, that's too loud. There we go. Guys shouldn't be able to hear that, so it should be okay. So we just answered him and we just finished group 3. So these groups are actually a little bit longer than normal. That's why you can, if you look at our time is actually still the same. So, okay. Alrighty, so with this one here, oh, I'm sorry. We're looking at Micro Center. I don't even know why. Okay. All right, next person to help. This is gonna be less than Ricky. I remember him. He was the one that he basically sorry, turning on the Xbox. He basically was having an issue whenever he tried to go to this application and try to go to the folder location or the file location. It would actually just spin for him. But then he told us what application he was going to, and then we tried it and we don't have his issue. So what he's referring to here is on the Xbox, whenever you go to Media Player Go and you go select media file, select media file. This is what he's talking about. So his freezes before it gets to this screen here where it tells us the folder is empty. But if you actually go in here, it's actually not empty. It's just that you have to, there we go into it. So yeah, you see that it has the folders and files and it looks just like Windows. But apparently whenever he goes in here, he doesn't get this. It just stays stuck with a green circle, which means that he has a corrupted files or he has some type of corrupted files because the Xbox is unable to read it. and he also removed his external drive, yet he was still having the problem. So now we've been going back and forth about it. And we said his drive may be corrupted. We let him know. He said, hey, thanks for the reply. I'm using apps called Media Player Go. So that's what we did. We did that, and we actually troubleshot it that way because we installed it as well. Okay, so we recreated this issue with our Xbox Series X, and we found that it was able to pull up all of our directories. This means that if you are freezing at this point, then either the files you have uploaded to the Xbox are corrupted, or a file type it cannot read, or the drive itself is corrupted or bad. Thus, a system reset will resolve the issue. So I say back up your settings and save to your external drive and wipe the main drive to see if that fixes your issue. Settings, system, console info, and then reset. If it doesn't, then you have a faulty drive on the Xbox. Thanks for this help. Before I do a system reset, the issue only occurs on those apps. I plugged out my external HDD, so now it's the only drive. Its only drive is my internal one. If I go to my storage in my settings, my drives disappear. Also, they appear for other apps too, such as, my drives appear. If I go to my storage and settings, my drives appear. Also, they appear for other apps too, such as VLC Player. So would a factory reset work here, assuming I could reset just settings and keep games and apps? It seems very bizarre. Issue is limited to these third-party apps. If I understood you correctly, if we understood you correctly, are you saying that when you do not have an external drive connected, everything works? Everything works? I've plugged out my external HDD, so now the only drive is my internal one. If I go to my storage and settings, my drives appear, right? Also, they appear for other apps too, such as VLC Player. Okay, so would a factory reset work here? If we understood, okay, so he's just saying that whenever he does it from different applications, it does appear, but it doesn't appear in that particular game or that particular program. If we understood you, but we already told him to try to reinstall the program. I'm using apps called Player Go, like blah, 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 blah. I've tried it without any external HD plugged in, and the same error occurs when I'm trying to select a drive. But he doesn't have the issue. Could you let us know also for the fix? You may want to try to uninstall the software. Hey, thanks for your reply. I'm using, okay. Well, we mentioned it earlier, but have you tried uninstalling the program and reinstalling it? And have you tried installing the program on your external drive? Try both to see if that makes a difference. And yeah, it is a weird one. Generally means some type of corruption, but let's try, but we can try to migrate, or we can try taking the or we can try loading the application from the external drive to see if that helps. Okay, we'll go with that way. So basically uninstall the game, reinstall the game, but just choose it on the external drive and just take it from there to see if that makes a difference. Maybe it'll load because it's on that particular external drive. If not, and he's still having an issue, then, you know, it's not looking good. We're basically going to be talking about essentially resetting the hard drive on the device. But yeah, we'll see what he says here. Less than Ricky, go ahead and keep us posted here, and we will pick back up with you on Monday. All right, so this is from Carbon Neutral. Oh yeah. So basically, he was just showing this picture of the GTX. I think I already looked at this. Oh, good God. Oh God. Oh God. Why? This is literally gore. Yeah, oh. Jesus Christ. Burn it. Nothing can save it now. Oh, God. Fire. Use fire and bug spray. I hear it's lethal to use fire and bug spray. Use fire and bug spray. Use fire and bug spray. Bug spray, and not necessarily in that order. There we go. Use fire and bug spray, and not necessarily in that order. Yeah, burn it. Oh my God. I'm not sure. I think only plutonium can save it. Yeah, no, I'm not even clicking back on that, dude. That is gross. That is absolutely gross. Somebody made a home out of his shell of his carcass. Like, I'm not even. GPU making a grind / snoring sound. Oh, I remember this. So this is a guy with the whole fan spinning up, making a snoring sound, and we were trying to compare sounds, and I was like, hey, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And we believe you may be referring to coil whine, which can happen on GPUs. Can you upload an audio recording of the exact sound you hear? And he said, yeah, but it's a Radeon card. Is it a Radeon card? The 6900 XT and its affiliate GPUs tend to whine when booting into games. If you play me your sound, I will play you mine. But yeah, mine does that too. And when we compare the noise, if you need, we can compare the noise if you need closure. But if it's NVIDIA, then that may be different. But we need to hear it so we are on the same page. Take 2 Discord app. Oh, he gave us a sound. Oh, it's a move file. Okay, so just open it here. And let me add it. Give me 1 second here. Application. Okay, here, let me just play it real quick just to make sure it's not crazy. Oh, no, you guys can hear it through the sound of the speakers. So you don't actually need me. So here, we'll do it this way. What just happened? I tried to hit play and it killed my whole application. And my computer and my settings. Did it drop any frames? No. But File Explorer crashed. Okay. He just crashed my computer. I think he gave me whatever he had. Okay, so open with VLC. Hold on. Let me turn it all the way up. Did it just burp? That guy might be possessed. Well, obviously, your PC is possessed. I'll be possessed. That sound is definitely different than the sound of coil whine. But it's no different than the sound of coil whine. But it's not cables hitting the GPU either. Well, here, maybe we need to look up something real quick. Just GPU making grinding noises. GPU makes grinding noise, not coil whine. He's right. It's not coil whine. I mean, it doesn't sound like cool wine, but that's the only thing it could really be. I don't really think it's anything bad or dangerous though. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't remember where we were. That is definitely different than the sound of coil wine, but it's not cables hitting the GPU either. So it's a possessed coil wine. LOL. But there's nothing. Oh, I know what the sound is. I know what the sound is. That's actually possessed coil wine. LOL. But seriously, that's actually the sound of ball bearings grinding against each other. I was stumped by the sound for a second there, but then I remembered my yo-yo days, and this is the exact sound of ball bearings grinding. Ha! What an issue! What an issue! That was fun. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's ball bearings grinding. That's what that's exactly what that sound is. That's it sounds like a snore, but really it's the sound of the ball bearings of the fans grinding. So if that's what's happening here, it looks like his fans may be on their way out. But yeah, it's the sound of ball bearings grinding against each other. I was stumped for a second of the sound there, but then I remembered. But there's no ball bearings in fans, are there? Are there any type of ball bearings in fans? Yes, there are two main types of bearings that are used on axial fans: ball bearings and sleeve bearings. So yes, there is. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure. That's exactly what it is. It's ball bearings. Look at that. Look at you, Anthony, remembering sounds from when you were 6. But yeah, that's exactly what that is, man. That's the sound of a yo-yo. But seriously, that's actually the sound of ball bearings grinding against each other. I was stumped for we were stumped by the sound for a second there, but then I remembered my yo-yo days, and this is the exact sound of ball bearings grinding. Ha! What an issue. That was fun. Yeah. Well, obviously your PC is possessed. That sound is definitely different than the sound of coil wine, but it's not cables hitting the GPU either. So it's a possessed coil wine, LOL. But seriously, this actually the sound of ball bearings grinding against each other. We were stumped by the sound for a second there, but then I remembered my yo-yo days, and this is the exact sound of ball bearings grinding. Ha! What an issue. That was fun. That was fun. Okay, cool. So yeah, Mr. Poopy, that's your issue, man. It's ball bearings. And ball bearings are used on fans, obviously. So, well, not really obviously, because we had to Google it. So I guess it's not that obvious. But that's exactly what that sound is, bro. Just go ahead and well, there's not a whole lot you can do here. Just kind of use it until it goes out, and then after it goes out, then go ahead and replace your fans. Miserable ad. Fresh install of Windows 10 stuck on hardware monitor screen. So this is a guy who had gotten a computer from his grandfather, but this is an old guy. This guy is an athlon. It's like super old, like super duper old. So yeah. So we basically had said, well, it's trying to load from the thumb drive, but it appears to be having a problem reading it. This is when he was having boot errors, and we kind of went back and forth on this one here. And we said, so with this one, I included the link to hopefully get you to Windows 7 download. Outside of that, when you get to the underscore screen, leave it there for like 12 hours to see if it makes a difference. I don't think you will have much choice in the matter, as if you actually get Windows 10 on this guy, there is a giant chance it will eat the little amount of RAM memory you have left. Remember, this is their grandfather's PC, and it's running an AMD Athlon. Like, it's super old. It's older than Phenom. and Phantom 1100T. When I was in college X plus years ago, I had somewhere around 4 to 8 gigs, but I was a gamer. So there's a strong chance he has like 2 gigs of RAM, which Windows 10 would probably have problems running on anyway, and would also explain the slowness. Hence why we say to give it 12 hours or so to see if it actually gets you to the Windows boot screen. Back when the little amount of memory could run whole games, now you can't even open Chrome without 8 gigs. This computer has 16 gigs, 8 gigs of DDR3. Holy crap. When I go to the underscore screen, if I left it for like 10 minutes, it turned into an orange screen with white lines up and down. Very scary. I will try installing Windows 7 later. Okay, bro. Wow. Wow. That is an impressive amount of memory, especially for a computer that old. Maybe the reason I didn't have any memory was just because I was poor. LOL. Keep us posted on how the Windows 7 update goes, bro. Okay. So, wow, just think about that. He has 16 gigs of DDR3, bro, and he has an Athlon. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is the fact that he has 16 gigs of RAM is just impressive. He must have actually used it for something very specific to have that much RAM from 15 years ago and still have 16 gigs. Like, I know people who don't have 16 gigs now. So that's kind of an interesting one. Okay, so this is from Dasus. I fell for a stupid scam from a YouTube Mr. Beast ad. So I was browsing through YouTube and an ad popped up that seemed to be from Mr. Beast. Oh, come on, man. Don't say that. It was a click this video equals claim $1,000 ad. Mr. Beast will never do that. Why would he do something for $1,000 when he makes videos and the videos are worth millions? Or he's giving away millions. Someone already made a video warning about this scam. I feel so dumb. It seemed legit. This is the first time I fall for a scam. The worst part about this, I gave 3 different addresses and 2 emails. However, the credit card I used was rejected for some reason. It didn't make any transaction. Will my bank account be fine? Also, did my info get stolen? Thanks. I feel so dumb right now. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. Mr. Beast is a very nice face to click on, so I get it. So for this issue here, I would say for starters, go ahead, if you gave them credit information, if you gave them credit card information, more than likely the bank knew they were full of it, but I would change, or I would cancel the card and get a new one. Knew they were full of it, but I would cancel the card and get a new one. As for the address/emails, actually we'll separate these. I was going to put them together, but they have different troubleshooting methodologies. As for the emails, more than likely it will go to spam. Now, if any of the words or information that you typed are the passwords of your emails, then change them immediately. As for the address, can't really do anything about that, but if it's in Texas, I doubt they want the smoke. That's what kids say, right? The smoke. Yes, I don't think they want smoke if it's in Texas, but they're not that kind of hackers. They're more of the never see you in person hacker, so you don't get shot in the face Those are the kind of hackers you're dealing with. You're not dealing with somebody else. So yeah, don't beat yourself up. Mr. Beast is a very nice face to click on, so I get it. So for this issue, I would say for starters, if you give them a credit card information, more than likely the bank knew they were full of it, but I would cancel the card and get a new one. As for the email, more than likely it will go to spam. Now, if any of the words or information that you typed are the passwords of your emails, then change them immediately. As for the address, can't really do anything about that, but if it's in Texas, I doubt they want the smoke. Yes, that's what I would say, Dasus. Keep us posted there. Alrighty, group 6, last group. Let's do this. And we're getting pretty good on time too. Oh no, I think we actually already did this one. So we may actually end early. What are you good to are you good to go, or are you still seeing the Windows update? What happens if you reboot? So let's go back here. Okay, so Windows update keeps logging blocked drivers. Oh yeah, this is the Intel one. So we already did this one. So why WTF, mate, at least read the manual. Oh wow, that is, how did he burn that? That's crazy. No, not the M.2. Not the M.2. They are too useful to break. Oh no, that's corny. I'm not gonna cite it. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm throwing my SSD into overdrive. Yeah, no, I can't beat that. Their jokes are too funny. Their jokes are too fresh. I can't compete. But that is crazy. Syncing problems. I think we already worked these. Doesn't work wired either. Still desyncs. Okay. So this guy here is with an Xbox One S. Whenever I hold the sync button on the Xbox One S controller, it turns off. Can someone help me with this? And I said, I'm not sure you're referring to us or someone else, but we will go with the data provided. Based on this logic, if you reset the Xbox and prevent it from updating, the controller should work, correct? Also, never mentioned if it worked wired. Doesn't work wired either, still desyncs. Okay, well, if it doesn't work wired or wireless, then has he tried both the controllers? Is it just us talking? 2, 4. No, it's not. Let's see if he replied to anybody else just to make sure we're not going crazy. I know that it is full of battery. I have rechargeable ones, and I don't have a cable to plug it into the Xbox, but I can buy one. The X button does light up and flash, but as soon as I try holding the button to sync, if the controller shuts off, well, what about this one? How many controllers do you have? How many controllers? Does the issue happen with all of them? Also, try to pair your Xbox controller with your cell phone. Does it work, or does it cut out like it did with the Xbox? If it cuts out on the phone as well, then you have a bad controller. If it doesn't, then you may have an Xbox issue. Thus, proceed with the reset we were referring to earlier. All right, so yeah, that's what I would say for this one. So if you have the Xbox controller and it's having issues syncing up, which means that on this controller here, yeah, this controller here, basically he was pressing the X button and to turn it on, and then he was pressing the sync button, which is right there, right there. Sorry. Yeah, right there. He was pressing the sync button, yet he was still having an issue. So if he was having an issue even after pressing the sync button and it turning itself off, and then he hooked it up directly and it was still having an issue, that's a horrible sign. That usually means that's going to be an issue with the controller or an issue with the Xbox itself, which is why we're telling you to plug the controller or hook the controller up to your phone and see if it does the same thing. If it does the same thing to your phone, then it's an issue with the controller. If it doesn't do the same thing to your phone, then it's a possibility that you have an issue with the Xbox, and thus proceed with the reset, because you said that this happened after an update, so we proved it. unfortunately, because of course we're asking you to wipe your drive in the event that this does not work. Okay, show me your child. I remember him. Okay, the issue is solved. Sweet. Did we take a W on this one? No problem. This is kind of what we do anyway. But what model was this? LOL. The earlier models use hard drives, thus it may take some time for it to load the information versus SSDs or NVMe's. Also, I would try to uninstall Minecraft and reload the console. When it comes back up, re-download Minecraft to see if it makes a difference. It's a hardware issue. It's starting to creep into other games. It just doesn't take the full input. So I've walked forward slower. Thanks for the help, though. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Pour one out for the console on death's door. LOL. Yeah, so it appears that his console was on its way out the door. He was having an issue with his UI issue, but he called it solved because he knows it's the hardware. My controller seems to work perfectly fine in games, but not in a single UI. Everything from Minecraft to Spotify, my controller takes 8 to 15 tries to move up in the UI. Oh no, actually this isn't dead. It just doesn't take the full input, so I'll walk forward slower. Oh, okay, gotcha. Pour one out. Gotcha. It's what's the name of that movie? I forgot what it is. Gotcha. A sloth like. Gotcha. Well, if you do have a hard drive, if you do have a SSD lying around, this is an S, right? If you do have an SSD lying around and the console is using a hard drive, then the SSD may help speed up the UI. Yeah, so just let him know, like, if it's a hard drive, then the SSD may actually help him with him trying to move around on the application itself, because it's actually not loading into memory. It's actually just, well, it is loaded into memory. That's silly. It's just that it's pulling it off of the drive itself, and if it's a hard drive, it may be a little slow because of it. That's why we're saying it that way, but we'll see. We'll just give him the option, but there's not a whole lot we can do here. All right, and the last one here, and we will finish a little early today. So this is from syncing, or this is the legitimate exchange syncing problems. Whenever I hold the sync button on my Xbox controller, I think we already talked about this earlier this week. Did it? Okay, so with this one here, what happens when it's plugged directly into the Xbox? Does it work? Are the batteries fully charged? Is the Xbox X controller light on when you press the sync button? I know that is a full battery. I have rechargeable ones, and I don't have a cable to plug it into the Xbox, but I can buy one. The X button does light up and flash, but as soon as I try holding the button to sync, the controller shuts off. I'm starting to think the update happened earlier this week did this. Well, prove it. Take the controller and plug it and connect it to your phone. Take the controller and connect it to your phone. Does it work when pairing to the cell phone? If it does, then you have a hardware/software issue with the Xbox, and do a system reset to see if that fixes it. If it can't pair to your phone, then you may have a faulty controller. Alrighty, so yeah, that's what I would say for that. So if you, this is the same situation as the one we just talked about, but it's a different person, but it's the same issue. So, you know, just plug it into your, connect it to your cell phone via Bluetooth and see if that actually fixes the issue. If it does fix the issue, then you have an issue with hardware software on the Xbox, in which case go ahead and proceed with the reset, seeing the fact you said it happened after the reset. If it can't, and it can't pair with a phone either, then you are more than likely having an issue with the controller. And that's how I work this issue, which means that this guy here did not talk about the same thing that this guy talked about. Gotcha. Well, if you have an SSD lying around in the console, try using the SSD. Then the SSD may help speed up the UI. Oh no. Well, this one. How many controllers do you have? Does the issue happen? Also, try to pair your Xbox controller with your cell phone. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. We did, but I refreshed it and it. Why would it do it? Oh, that's so weird. If it works wired. Okay. So Chubby Crybaby. Chubby Crybaby. So yeah, this is the same context equals 3. Context equals 3. Yeah, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. Syncing problems. Yeah, I'm not sure, but whatever. We worked the issue a couple times, but yeah, it's the same problem. So yeah, you have to just go ahead and hook it up with another device and see if that actually fixes the issue, and then go from there. Alrighty, we will go ahead and leave this alone here, and we will go ahead and call it a day here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead and like button. If you really like it, I'm going to subscribe. I love you either way. Take care, all the best, and bye. I will see you on Monday. Have a happy Super Bowl.